Being by
One.
you.
Happy. Everyone pretend you didn't hear that live. The curtain has been pierced. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome back. It's been a bit. We've had some technical difficulties. We had some real life stuff going on that has really thrown our schedule through a loop the past couple of weeks. But here we are once again this fine Tuesday with another episode of Delve Requisite. We are joined, of course, as you can see, by the crew of the Grimm's Folly tonight for the continuing adventures on the high seas. Let's take a quick second and give a shout out to a couple of sponsors and then get into a recap, which I assure you the players need just as much as you at home do, because it's been a while. But sponsors: Little Dragon Corp, Cardboard Castle Games. I don't know if Michael's muted or if he's just mouthing words. Anyway.
No, sorry. I
Oh,
saw
okay.
one of the messages from my Discord pop up, and I'm like, yes, I love it. Sorry.
I looked up and I just saw like emphatic pointing and mouthing and got quite confused. Anyway, exclamation point CCG or exclamation point Little Dragon in chat at any point during tonight's stream will give you a link that you can click on to go to those sponsors' websites. Cardboard Castle, of course, a dice company based out of Canada, which provides the best and brightest and shiniest and click-clackiest of math rocks for your Dungeons & Dragons and other tabletop gaming needs. You can use our code PROBONUS at checkout to get a 10% discount on your order. And Cardboard Castle Games, a brick-and-mortar tabletop gaming store located in the United States, in Evans, Georgia. But fear not, if you are not local to Evans, Georgia, they have a robust online experience where you can shop for all of your tabletop RPG needs right there as well. So, thank you to Cardboard Castle and Little Dragon Corp for sponsoring Proficiency Bonus. And let's hit a little bit of a recap, shall we? So, the crew of the Grimm's Folly has just sailed into the harbor in the Ignean city of Umyath Dorai. You guys, for reference, your vessel is currently moored. You're in the process of like mooring this Naporian fishing vessel that you are currently using in that sort of middle set of docks on the map there. The northern docks you saw coming in definitely look like they are for military use. And that southern thing, kind of right behind the skull on the map overlay, is a huge shipyard where you're seeing a number of vessels currently being constructed. You sailed around this massive fort that's on one of these kind of like offset islands that has this enormous rounded sort of parapet dotted structure with these huge cannons coming off of it. And you have sailed around and into what is the commercial port of Umyath Dorai. What the crew is doing there, the three of you, and bonus points, we'll pop quiz real quick. If if any of you can tell me which members of your crew, besides the five of you brought with you, you get bonus points.
We had Movor, Tea Kettle, Melted Snow.
There you go. I knew Brittney would be the one to know it.
There's a whole bullet point for it. Right,
She's got
there.
the notes.
Yeah, I have the notes pulled up. I'm not playing around.
The five of you, Movor, the Orc, Tea Kettle, the Kenku, and Melted Snow, the Tabaxi, are on a borrowed Naporian fishing vessel that Nymue's father and the other Elder Council of the island nation of Naporia lent to you, so that you could get into Umyath Dorai's port, not fully sailing on a stolen and repainted Ignean warship. The reason that you have come here is that you are investigating I guess we could call it a conspiracy of sorts that you have stumbled upon. Way back when you guys all met, when you were taken prisoner by a slaver captain by the name of Grimshaw Morin aboard his vessel, the Barjack. You were sort of rescued, sort of in the process of rescuing yourselves, by Captain Nathaniel Thorne of the Shrike, who later told Nymue that he had found a letter among the personal effects of the slaver captain that he thought was of interest to her, or would be. He felt compelled to show her and present to her. For a refresher, that letter read, "To whomsoever bears this letter, your line of business makes you uniquely positioned to acquire assets that I am interested in. Should you, in your travels, come into possession of a native of the island nation of Naporia, ideally a lunar warrior, you will be well compensated for their delivery. Bring them to the slave markets at Umyath Durai, find the dealer marked by the token included with this letter, and they will know what to do. Signed, Pendragon." You guys do not know who Pendragon is. You do not know what the token included with the letter was, as it was not with it when it was presented to you. But when you went to Naporia to warn the leadership there, you stumbled across a sort of a diplomatic mission from the Ignean Empire trying to set up some sort of an exclusive contract to hire on Naporian's crop of upcoming mercenaries, lunar warriors, which was summarily refused by the leadership, only to have their one of their sacred rituals interrupted by this supposed diplomat and some individuals under his command trying to attack and either kill or capture these individuals. So now you have decided to follow up on this letter for yourselves, coming to Naporia, attempting to find the merchant in question, find out who Pendragon is and what is going on, that this individual is apparently interested in the acquisition of Kalashtar, specifically people from Naporia who are bound to spirits that naturally inhabit this area. When we left you guys off, you had pulled into the port here, so we will kind of rejoin as the five of you and your three companions are like finalizing. You've pulled up alongside one of the docks. Movor like throws a rope over Tea Kettle, nimbly hops over the side of the ship onto the dock, grabs the rope, lashes it around one of the pylons, and you guys bring the vessel into port and drop the small anchor on the fishing vessel. So I will turn the table over to you guys now, as you are on this.
Like we're in the port.
You're in the port. We're getting reverb off of somebody. You're in the port. The boat is docked. You just basically step off the boat and you are in Umyath Durai.
Before we get off the boat, or at some point before we're rolling up, Murderbeard will address the crew and be like, "Okay, we probably want to try to be not obviously pirates when we're here. So maybe some of us should change clothes, act a little differently. Thyxes probably don't wear the squeaky pants." Hold on, wait.
What are you? What is he doing?
Captain.
Captain
what are you doing?
ship.
Are you
Hello?
leaving us here all alone
Hello?
to do this by ourselves?
Look how lost we all are the second Russell.
What do we do? We're out without a captain.
I have something for just this occasion. Hold on.
Oh
Wait.
no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh
What
boy.
did he,
Oh
what did he
boy.
bring?
Oh boy.
No.
No.
Yeah, no, I look like every other dwarf.
Murderbeard goes like to the little. There's not really a below decks in this vessel, but Murderbeard goes into the little like covered portion, comes back out with this hat on, this different hat, and Movor goes, What happened to Captain Murderbeard?
I'm
I
too
don't
tired.
rightly know.
Captain, you have a knack for being like a chameleon. You can just change your look just based off your head? That's amazing.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it, given the fact that my beard is fucking huge, but...
You're completely different aura now. It's interesting.
Do I need to do anything different? Do
Uh,
I look like a pirate?
I mean, you look like a big fur monster. I don't know if that's necessarily piratey.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I mean, aside from
Yeah,
Murderbeard, I don't know that any of you are, like, especially piratey at this point.
maybe Thyxes because he's.
I mean,
been
like,
trying to
Thyxes has,
get
like,
rid
leather
of it.
hot pants, but that's not really,
I
like...
feel like Thyxes has like the leather hot pants and like the really frilly like white tunic, like some Captain Jack Sparrow stuff, but it's more like, okay, he went to the gift shop and the Spirit Halloween and is like cosplaying.
It's the absolute cheapest clothes. Yeah. Cheapest stuff.
Well, how do we want to go about finding Pendragon?
We know that his contact is in the slave markets, yeah?
Mm.
I guess we
Well-
could start there.
Yeah.
Maybe, or a tavern or something. We need to look for, like, rumors.
Well, didn't the letter say, like, if you present the token to anyone at the slave market, they know how to find me? But since we don't have that,
No, but
I guess
if we
walking
clearly
in with
have
the
a
Naporian,
rumor,
yeah. Like, you're not for nothing. Everyone's
The-
gonna be
Going to
staring
get
at you.
Clinton, right? That's what we want.
The letter specifically said find the dealer marked by the token included with this letter, so you would infer from that
It
whatever
matched.
had been included with the letter, yeah, like the appropriate merchant has some sort of a matching thing, either like on himself or his booth or something like that.
Should we perhaps case an establishment near the market to try to figure out anything about who would be associated with Pendragon so we know what we're looking for? If we know we need to find a certain symbol.
Mm, yeah, maybe. Pendragon's our only lead. Alright. Let's do this then.
Does
Okay, so
anyone
you're-
know how to get there?
Well, actually, so what you guys can see from where you are here, so you're docked at the sort of that middle point there, directly off of like the docks here. It's a pretty bustling little port here. Ships are coming in and going out, being loaded and unloaded. You see there's like a lot of like what you would expect like port side. There's a lot of like fishmongers and merchants of things that like ships would need, as well as a whole bunch of like what look like warehouses and things for goods to be immediately stored in as they come on or off boats. Beyond that, there is let me see if I can zoom in a little bit for you guys so you can see the map a little better here. Beyond that, I'm moving fully something else. This one. You see. Zoom in just a scotch.
Oh yeah, we got the clip.
Get you closer here. We got the clip? I don't know what that means. So beyond that, you can see like what is kind of central here at this point, is some like it appears to just be like kind of residential, sort of a residential type of area, or just like small narrower-ish streets. But when you were like kind of coming in, you definitely saw that there was like this walled in portion, and you could see that like a little further south was an area where it looks like the kind of like congestion of the city was much more opened up, and there was this kind of like larger open area, and you saw could kind of see like the peaks of some tents and things. You get the impression that there is like a massive market in sort of like a little bit south of the docks here.
Let's go that way.
Yeah.
You step off the boat. Movor, Tea Kettle, and Melted Snow. What are you doing with them?
Are we
Nice.
leaving? We have the rings. So who has? Where are we putting those little rings that can do like sending, or whatever? Are we taking both of them?
We left one of them with the main ship, I believe.
That's right.
think-
Yeah, I
think
thought we left
Apora
one with
has
the
one.
main
Apora
ship so
has
we could
one.
communicate with
Okay.
them.
Okay.
Yeah.
No. Because here, no, I'm looking at the notes. That's not true. We plan to bring the rings and have that among the party members as well as
right.
Scylla's animal messenger spell, and the crew has messenger parrots to send us anything.
Yeah,
if we
the crew
need
has
Yeah.
the messenger sparrow that Gareth Blackwell sent you. So if they need to reach you, they have means that way.
it. So do we want to take the rings then?
Yeah, I think because then if Nymue can mind link with
Because
someone,
Nymue can mind link to anybody,
then
and
a
if we
couple of
give
us can
two
have
other
rings.
people the rings, then we can have
They
like a
can
whole
talk
network.
directly.
We can have a group
Well,
call.
it's only one time per day, right? With the rings.
I believe they
Limited.
are. Yes, they are limited.
Yeah.
Could I have one of the rings?
It makes sense that you would because you can go into animal form.
Yeah.
Okay, I take a ring.
Okay, Scylla has a ring.
Maybe.
Nymue should probably keep the other ring.
Oh, you mean in case this goes sideways and I become a slave?
That sounds good.
It's valid. Okay.
In case
So-
like, hey, a
Nymue-
Naporian, kill everybody and imprison her.
Nymue and I put on each other's rings.
So you guys put the rings on.
Ring.
You have them. You guys vote. Tea Kettle, Movor, Melted Snow. What are you doing with them? Are you bringing them with you? Or are you leaving them on the ship?
Should probably-
If we're trying to scope out the marketplace, we already stand out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Do we need, as much as I love them, do we need all these other interesting characters walk around the Empire?
No.
I'm
Tea
just a normal
Kettle
dwarf, I don't
does
know what
this,
you're talking about.
mimicking
Yeah.
Scylla as Scylla shakes her head.
we stand out enough as we do. We have a Lunar Warrior, we have a Firbolg, we have a Tiefling, we have Murderbeard, and then I am the only normal looking one here, and that's a bad thing.
Yeah, maybe not.
Yeah.
Hold down the fort.
Okay, so you guys leave the three of them there. Tea Kettle quickly scuttles up the small mast of the ship, plants herself at a vantage point high to look out over, keep an eye down both directions of the dock. Melted Snow just sort of settles down to kind of hang out and wait. And Movor gives a nod and he thumps you on the shoulder, Thyxes, as you guys head off, and he says, "Friend Thyxes, we'll crush anyone who tried to get on boat. Yes."
Yeah, do that. Not my shoulder.
He very delicately sort of smooths out your shirt collar. He's, "Sorry."
Right. As
You
it's
guys-
this is pants squeak away as I walk.
You guys head down the dock towards the mainland, and as you get to the end of the dock, an elven man comes out of a small kind of booth. He has a ledger with him, and he is wearing what you immediately take to be imperial regalia. He has a tunic and pants that are emblazoned with the royal crest of the Ignean Empire. And he comes up to you and he kind of looks over you, and in common he says, "What is the name of your vessel, the name of your captain, and your business in Umerth Dry, and the docking fee is 1 gold regal."
I have 9 pieces of Ignean gold, so I will give one of the Ignean golds that I have.
He
Here.
takes the gold. He kind of like inspects it quickly. Slips it into a little pouch that is on his belt. He's very good. Name of your vessel, name of your captain, and your business in Umyatoi, please.
Look at the captain.
Yeah.
You like to do the honors, Scylla?
Am I the captain?
I'm saying our ship name.
Oh, is it the
was
one
your
that
idea.
I sent?
Yeah.
The ship's name is the Sea Quill.
He says, would you please spell his for me, please?
THE space SEA space QUILL.
The sea quill. My comment is rusty, but this is how you say the pun, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Very good. And who among you is your captain? You? He gestures to Scylla because you were the one who answered him and paid him. You was the captain? Yes?
Yes.
This is, and what is your name, please?
Oh my god. What is the name? What is the
Name
Firbolg
generator.
name?
Name generator.
Hold on.
He kind of narrows his eyes a little bit as you guys like struggle to answer these very simple questions.
Okay.
Oh,
My
sir,
name is Philia. I don't know.
Philia, Captain Philia, okay.
Philia.
This is, and your business in Umyatoi. He like looks at your boat and he sees you guys struggling. He says, "Perhaps you have fishing good to sell."
Yes, that is exactly why we are here. For
He,
trade.
He nods. He scribbles all this information down in the in his book, and he says, "Very good. Welcome to Umyatoi. Please obey all local posted law and ordinance. Enjoy your stay." And he walks away with an air that tells you that he's very like kind of disinterested in like, you know, he just is, it's his job to get the money and write the thing in the book. And also he maybe thinks you guys are like a little bit idiots. But he just like kind of goes back to his booth. And that's it. So you are you guys are wanting to head down south to the to where you believe that market to be, yeah?
I think so, yeah.
So you make your way there.
Thyxes is going to look on the way there. Thyxes wants to look for the posted laws.
Sure. So make a perception check, Thyxes, as you guys are traveling.
Thyxes is the smartest one amongst all of us right now.
That crossed my mind, but not Nimue's. Okay.
Perception is a 12.
7 to 12. So not difficult. You there are on most street corners there are these like big officious looking like sort of like rounded information centers slash like boards. They have these spaces where like notices have been posted, and you are able to kind of like take a look at these in like a rough overview. If you are, some of you I am sure are. If you're not, I can send it to you. If you guys are familiar with like D&D's the code legal that they use in Waterdeep, very similar to that. But pretty standard stuff like don't commit crimes, don't rob from people, don't commit offenses against like officials, lords, and nobles. There are like with a 12. With a 12, that's the information you gain at a glance. Like there's like you kind of see a lot of notices posted around of various like edicts decreed by the Lord of Umyatoi and other like various imperial law. Nothing jumps out to you as like especially like hyper specific that you might like accidentally get yourself in trouble. It's all pretty, pretty standard. Like, don't do things that would definitely get you in trouble and arrested. And you're good to go. So that's
Let's
what
be
you discover
careful,
as you kind of,
everybody.
like, look.
Let's be careful.
Does
Let's try not to be ourselves while we're here, I guess.
So can we carry weapons?
Yes.
Is that allowed?
Yes.
Yeah, I just
Okay.
looked it up. Question: Is there? So you said there's edicts from like the Lord of Umyathdarai. Is his name listed anywhere?
Yes. The Lord of Umyathdurai's name is.
Pee poo poo.
Yeah, that's it. How'd you guess?
It's a good default to guess.
You see a Lord Lariel listed. Larial. Lord Lariel is listed as like the sort of like by decree of Lord Lariel, official official hand of the emperor of ruler of Umyathdarai, blah 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 blah, whatever edict.
Damn, we have another Larry in the game. Okay.
Can I do a history check to see if I know anything about him having been educated and?
Sure. Make a history check.
Well, that's not going to get me very far. That's a 10. I rolled very badly, even with my plus
so with
5.
a 10, I'll say what you know. You don't necessarily know anything specific about this Lord Lariel, but you do know a little bit in general about the like sort of the governmental structure of the Ignean Empire. You know that like the Emperor is the absolute ruler of the Ignean Empire, obviously. His name is that much at least should be common knowledge. It just might take me a minute to find it. His name is Emperor Aranon Telthalar. Which I'll post that to you guys later. But it's ARAN 'ON TEL THALAR. Aranon Telthalar. Aranon Telthalar is supposedly a direct descendant of the bloodline of the rulers of the Anvarian Empire. He rules over the entire empire. Then there are High Lords, which are like who this Lord Lariel would be. They are the rulers of the major cities and settlements within the empire. And then there are Small Lords who rule over like towns and little like provincial settlements and things like that. And then like a slew of lesser like perfunctory royal titles all the way down to like schmucks who collect taxes and stuff like that. So you kind of know that. You know that as the High Lord of Umyathdarai, of a city, this Lord Lariel has tremendous power and latitude. For all intents and purposes, like anything that this individual says or like decrees carries the weight as if it came directly from the Emperor himself. So he's basically like the absolute power in this city as far as anything's concerned. You don't necessarily know anything specific about this individual, like how long they have been the High Lord of this city, or anything else like that.
You just wanted to know what Rowan would know about this world.
So you guys are kind of traveling. You're making your way south. You see the makeup of the population here is definitely predominantly elven, high elven mostly. So like if not for Nymue's like garb and her tattoos, she would probably be like the most would stick out the least here, as her features are very similar in nature to like a high elven heritage. You do see an occasional wood elf scattered throughout, You don't see, and the second most common is human by far, for sure. You don't see any other dwarves. You don't see any other furbolgs. You don't see any other tieflings. Predominantly high elves, wood elves, humans. You see the occasional, very occasional, actually, occasionally you will spot an individual. It's daytime, broad daylight. Occasionally you will spot an individual that is like walking around the streets, fully like hooded, cloaked, cowled, like covered. Seem to be going about their business like any other, individual would be, but they are like there's like the occasional person who's like fully covered themselves in like this bright daylight that you guys are out in.
Do they look like they're elves under there? Can I even
They
see?
are about the like dimensions of like a human or an elf, but their physical features are like obscured by the garb that they wear in as they're walking about their business.
Matt,
this is what you see.
Is the garb plain or is it decorative? Does it look like it maybe have arcane symbols on it or anything of that nature?
It's a mix. In as much as like any other group of people walking around are like dressed as nicely as whatever their social status might indicate. Certainly elves, high elves, seem to be like, as a rule, dressed much more finely. You would say that by and large, the dress of these cloaked individuals is like kind of in line with that level of niceness. Humans are generally, dressed fairly well. There are certainly some humans you see, a lot of the wood elves you see. You do see like halflings and gnomes as well among the population here. But generally anybody that is not like an elf or some of the better dressed humans are dressed very plainly in very like common basic outfits. You know enough about Ignean society to know like there is a very strict sort of like caste system in place here, which places high elves at the top. Humans are sort of tolerated, and everybody else is basically considered a second-class citizen in this culture.
So people are watching us. Also,
You're not necessarily like drawing like stares. In fact, like a lot of the elven population are like pointedly
avoiding,
not looking at you, as if you're like. But
Thanks.
You're not necessarily drawing like undue attention. There are enough people especially by the ports here. There's enough people that are other races that it's not like you guys are like 6 people who are fully the only like non-elves in this entire goddamn city. So you're able to move without like, you don't like pick up a tail of like somebody like following you immediately. You're kind of you're inconspicuous for now. You do make your way. It takes you about 10 minutes. But you make your way down and you enter into what is clearly like the grand market of this city. It is an area that is like almost double the size of like the entire docks and port area. It is ringed with like road groups of like these very elaborate like shops and boutiques and things like that, and cafes, taverns, bakeries, all sorts of things like that. And then in the middle, there is like basically a internal series of like maze-like winding pathways through all of these like tents and stalls and things like that. This area is like huge, and you can see like basically anything that you can think of is being sold here. You see, you see weapons and armor being sold. You see trade goods. You see food. You see liquor, alcohols. You see things being at least advertised as potions. You see, trinkets, art, services like barbers and individuals who are advertising what you take to be like services wherein someone with some small ability at magic will like put minor like glamours onto like your outfit or your like body somewhere to like beautify you in some way. All sorts of things in this huge market area that you've entered. So what are you doing now that you've gotten here? You said you kind of want to scope the area out. Like, what are you looking for? Are you going somewhere? Are you like asking questions around? What do you guys want to do now that you're here?
That's a really good question.
Is it stupid to just like go to a bar and start asking about Pendragon?
I think that's going to get us.
The taverns are probably usually the best.
I think that's what they're for.
Yeah. That'll be the fastest way. If we wanted, but I also could get some trouble on us.
It's definitely going to catch attention if we just go to a like bustling tavern close to the market.
Yeah, we can't just go to the
Yeah.
Be on the docks being like Pendragon.
I think it's better to go to a tavern and start asking, so it's like enclosed and it's like limited witnesses. Whereas if we're in the middle of the market,
find a less busy tavern, but still nearby, so that maybe we could just even ask about the slave trade here and say we need people for our ship.
Yeah.
I don't really like the idea of pretending to be like one of those people, but it would get us answers faster, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
What do you guys
don't
want to do?
really have any other leads.
I mean, the other option
unless we're missing something in that in that note.
We don't have the symbol to know.
Yeah, the only other option would be to walk around and try to find the slaver.
Okay, how about this?
On our own.
Let's just browse the slave market, see if we can find anything suspicious. If we don't, then we go to a tavern and start throwing out Pendragon's name and asking around.
Yeah, I mean.
Sure. Go ahead and somebody can roll me an investigation check as you guys make your way towards trying to figure out where the kind of like the slave markets are.
You know, I'm like slightly investigative. Oh, honey.
I have a +6.
Oh, Thyxes!
Oh, honey.
I say Murderbeard or Thyxes probably.
Thyxes is a city boy for sure. So I think this is definitely Thyxes as well.
I have a -1 in investigation.
Oh.
If you need intimidation, just above it, +9.
Maybe I was thinking of your intimidation.
Am I doing this with help or?
Yeah, you know what?
Help.
Yeah, we'll help.
Either way, roll with advantage. Whether it's from their helping or from like the fact that Thyxes, you're from a big city, like you know how to kind of find your way about and what to look for and stuff like that. So either way, roll with advantage.
With advantage is a 23.
Wow. Okay. So you guys very quickly find your way to the slave markets. Pretty much the entire like northeastern corner of this market is dedicated to the slave trade of the empire here.
You hear that? You hear that? Everybody hear that? That's auctioning this way.
I thought for sure he would be like, wait, I hear the sound of social injustice, and lead you right to it. So Thyxes, you were able to easily lead the group to this northwestern course. You hear, you don't hear auctioneer, but what you do kind of notice is, you see like not too far, a few blocks from where you are, you see like a cage. And that kind of tips your sense. You head that way, and it leads you to the right place. And what you find is this slave market is kind of segmented into a couple of different portions. The portion that you guys approach appears to be like dozens of independent brokers. So there's all these different like booths and establishments and stuff with individuals who are like brokers that will buy and sell sentient beings. You don't see, like, as you approach at this portion, you don't see, like, people in chains, like, locked up at these booths. Like, this is clearly where, like, business is done on, in behalf of this trade. As you kind of wander around the area a little more, you do find a portion where, like, there are like several areas set up where, like, you can see that auctions would take place. There are, like, raised stages, places where, like, an auctioneer would stand. There's nothing currently going on today at this point. They're empty. There's not a lot of people milling around in this area. And sort of like the third portion of this that you come to is an area where it does look like they are keeping, like, people. You see with a 23, Thyxes, you see, like, there's a bunch of cages in different parts. Some of them have, like, it's a mix of people. You see humans, you see gnomes, you see halflings, you see several. There's one cage that has a pair of elves in it, high elves, which kind of leads you to the assumption that, like, whatever the system in place here is, like, nobody is safe from like becoming a slave one way or another, apparently, in this empire.
Do I see any Naporians?
You do not.
Okay.
What you do see that is, like, kind of catches your eye is there is a cage that has a number of orcs in it, like full on, not half orcs, like full on orcs. And they're just kind of like, they're not doing anything. They're just in this cage. But that's what you see with, like, an investigation. You get a pretty good look around the place, but without really knowing what you're looking for, like, there's nothing really that, like, draws your eye as like, who to talk to, or, or where to go specifically, as indicated by this letter. There's not like a broker that has, like, Pendragon written above it or anything like that. So without, like, talking to anybody or anything like that, there's not much more you can glean from this to progress any further.
Can I?
I just kind of look to the group and under my breath, kind of like, it's very difficult for me right now because I really want to burn all these booths to the ground.
Okay.
I go over to Thyxes and just kind of, like, put my arm, like, on his shoulder, and I just go, I was going to ask you to keep me in check. Now that seems like a very poor decision. I kind of want to hit everything with my sword, like, immediately.
Can I do either an insight or perception check to see if anyone's clocking me specifically, to see if, like, maybe the Kalashtar might be getting some attention?
Sure.
More
Yeah,
than
make an insight check. That's good.
Ginger Ale, you're in my way.
What is, like, the general, like, vibe of, like, okay, so slavery is, like, unacceptable no matter what, but, like, I feel like the way that it's sometimes described in certain cultures, it's, like, more of, like, an indentured servitude thing that, like, people can work their way out of, and then in other times it's, like, they're really just, like, treating people like absolute garbage. Like, what does it seem like the vibe is here on that, like, scale of, like, horribleness?
Without further investigation, I would say what you can tell at a glance is it does not look like the people who are in any of these, like, cages or anything like that are being mistreated. In so much as, like, their personal right to be, like, a free human being and or orc being and or whatever being has been stripped from them. But, like, they don't appear to be being abused, like, physically. They're not being starved or anything like that. They clearly don't look happy to be in their situation. As far as, like, the individuals who, like, are the brokers at these things, the people that are, like, operating these areas, they kind of seem to be, like, very business as usual about this. So, I mean, I guess at a general vibe check, you don't get a sense of, like, abject cruelty about this. But, like, it's still slavery. So like
it's still horrible.
it's
but,
like monstrous regardless. But but
Yeah.
like they are not they're not like flogging people in these cages or or anything like that you can see.
Okay.
My roll was an 18. If it's
18.
insight or perception, both are the same.
With an 18 insight, you notice there is an individual kind of near where some of the the caged areas are that definitely took note, Nymue, of you. He's not necessarily looking so much at you anymore after he kind of noticed you, as he seems to be scoping out the others in your party. And with an 18, you get the sense he's trying to figure out maybe who's in charge. But he doesn't seem to think it's you.
Noted. All right, I guess I'll mind link with everybody and kind of give them the heads up on that guy.
It's a human man, looks to be just almost barely into adulthood, he's 17 maybe. He's got one of those sort of prepubescent mustaches. He's sweeping up. He looks like he's clearly just sort of a hired help around here. But you definitely noticed him notice you and is kind of surreptitiously trying to kind of scope out who he thinks looks the most like they're the boss of your your companions.
Well, he doesn't think I'm the boss. Does someone want to go ask him if he knows Pendragon? That's not me, because I don't think he's gonna give it to me.
You said he's human?
Yeah.
He's a human.
Do you want to go?
I want to. I am so afraid he's going to say something and I'm going to lose my crap and this is going to go sideways so fast.
Hold on. Hold on.
Yeah, do you have anything that could keep me from going ape right now?
Do I seem like the kind of person who cares about calming anyone's emotions?
No, you really
True, good point. Never mind.
But I have for you. Where is it? Okay. I feel like I need to give you charisma right now.
Yes, please.
I take a little tiny downy feather from an osprey, a little seabird, and I kind of just tuck it into your collar there, and I cast Enhance Ability Eagle Splendor, so you have advantage on charisma checks.
Cool.
Thank you.
Okay, so
I'm
you are able
totally
to cast
gonna need that. Yeah.
And Rowan, you are approaching this individual.
Yes. Before I do, I will look back at everyone and kind of more at Thyxes and go, I promise to try to not just stab him. If I do, I am sorry. And then I turn.
I kind of I'll put my arm, my hands on your shoulder, and I'm like, do you want me to go with you?
Couple paces behind, just in case.
But if I'm just gonna tell you straight up, if you start stabbing, I'm gonna burn stuff down.
Maybe Thyxes shouldn't come with me. I will go. You guys stay here. I think we can all run relatively fast enough, and his fire can go far enough that we can do it from a distance. And then Rowan spins and walks over.
So you spin on your heel. You stride over.
I'm trying to act all businessy and
so you're
pay attention. I'm coming at you.
You're sort of channeling your rage into this sort of haughty attitude as you approach this lad. He straightens up as you come over.
Yeah, I'm pulling full my parents' vibes.
Absolutely,
right now.
Yes. So you walk over. He straightens up and he says, my lady, and he sort of bows a little bit to you, and he says, I had noticed that you had a Naporian in your employ, and did look a little lost. I was not sure who among your group was in charge, but I thought that I might avail myself of you. Is there something that you require assistance with? He seems very finicky, he's nervous.
I had hoped to speak to somebody a little bit higher in the ranks here. given who I am and where I come from, but considering that you're the only one that seems to be around here, not locked in a cage, I guess you'll have to do.
He make an intimidation check. With advantage, because that is a charisma-based skill.
Okay, hold on. I need to do math again. That's a 17.
Okay. He like straightens up even more, and he says, "Oh, yes, I'm Nolan. I just sweep up for a few copper pieces a day, but yeah, but yes, I would be more than happy to bring you to the he gestures over back where you guys were in like the brokers kind of stalls. He says, I would be more than happy to bring you to one of the brokers. He kind of looks at your party, and you see kind of like nods in the direction of Nymue, and he says, I imagine I have a guess as to which broker you have business with, given your complimentary group.
Yes, I have heard a few things in my time, and let's just say I'm looking for the best deal possible, and if I don't get it, there will be problems in this marketplace.
He seems thoroughly like afraid of invoking whatever unspoken wrath you might call down upon him. He says, "Oh, yes, of course. Alon Relolian is well. Come, I can take you to him. I believe he is at his stall today."
Thank you.
And he sort of like scampers, like checking to make sure you're following him.
As I follow him, we pass the group, right? We pass my friends?
Yeah.
Okay. As we get near them, I just look over and say, follow, and keep walking with him. Like I'm ordering them.
I'm going to establish a mind link with Rowan, so she has access to me at any point.
Yes, thank you very much. Oh, wait, this is the first time we mind linked. This is going to be hilarious for me to try to pull off while still pretending I'm...
Okay. You guys are led back, sort of like to the west, back a little bit the way you came, towards where the area where all the brokers are, and you're led to a stall, a stand, that is on the very like outskirts of the not outskirts, but like the edge of the markets here. You get the impression that it is like based on the way that this place is laid out, the fact that this is like one of the first ones that you would walk into, like would hit as you come in, like makes this kind of a place of like desirable location. You see that there are two individuals behind the like the kind of front counter area of this structure. They are both elves. One of them is they're both dressed quite nicely. One of them is clearly like more dressed in like fine fine like merchant's attire. And the lad kind of like brings you over, and he gestures to the more finely dressed elf, and he says, "Your cameras are broken. I'll fix them." Okay. He says.
Weird thing for him to say.
He says, "Master Relolian, this." He sort of gestures. He says, "Well, I encountered them in the market, and as you can see, they, well, yes." And the elf sort of like turns this like imperious gaze over the lad, and he says, "Yes, thank you. That will be all. You may go." And the lad kind of like nods, and he sort of like looks at this person that he had called. He's told you is named Alorn Relolian, and he like looks at the elf. He like looks at you. He seems to be like for a second. He's like seems to be maybe seeing if like somebody is gonna like toss him a coin for his trouble or something like that. And when nobody does. I'm
gonna be a jerk.
Okay.
I'm going to, if I can, I feel like I probably could take out like a little copper piece.
Okay.
and I'm gonna try to break it in half to throw him half.
Okay. Make a strength check.
That is. I think it's good, but I need to check my stats. That's a dirty 20. So
You like snap and then like twist this copper piece in half and like flick it at him.
Like past him, like kind of into the dirt almost, and then just go, "Thank you."
It like bing, 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 hits the cobblestones, like clatters off. The lad kind of like turns around. He like picks it up, and like does not dare say anything. He just just like gets the hell out of there.
In my mind link to Nymue, I'm gonna say remind me later to bring him in.
Noted. You're doing good. Just keep at it.
I feel like my mother. I feel horrible. I want out.
Aelorn like watches this young man go, and he turns his eyes back to you, and he says, "I see. You have business with me."
That depends. That's what I've been told, but I don't know if you're the person that will give me the best price for what I want and what I have.
He kind of like quirks an eyebrow. And he says, "Considering your company, I should have thought you already knew that I was the one to see."
Considering that I have never had to step foot in this city before, and I've only heard mere rumor, I don't want to make a deal with the wrong person, so you will understand why I want to be sure.
He says, "I see. Likely one of those, then. Pray tell me, how did you come across the information that brings you to..." He, like, looks towards Nymue briefly and back to you. "Bring her to me."
Are we going to discuss this here on the open market, or are you going to invite me somewhere else to speak privately?
He says, "No, we're going to discuss this here. This is where I do
Fine.
business."
Fine, then. I came across this information, as you call it, after having a rather unfortunate for him run-in with Grimshaw Morin. You have to
you
see...
don't get the impression that that name means anything to him. Or at least if it does, he doesn't show any, like, his poker face is too good.
For your obvious lack of understanding, I will explain further. He was a captain of a ship that enjoyed gathering up
He was a slaver.
others.
Yes.
And with those others, he would bring them here into any port that would have him. One night, he happened to get a little too drunk and a little too stupid. And, well, he's no longer with us.
He says, "That tells me what I need to know."
Yes.
Certain individuals were given a letter, a missive, with instructions that... He gestures again towards Nymue. Her type.
Question for out of character. Who has that letter still? Do I still have it?
I believe you
do.
still have it, yeah.
I'm going to pull out the letter as he says it.
You pull it out, he looks, he says, "Yes, several..."
I hand it to him.
He takes it, he says, "Yes, many copies of these were distributed." He says, "At first it was only the original bearers of the letters who were bringing Naporians to me, but as word got around, others took up the challenge, as it were. I was merely curious as to whether you were the first type or the second. Your information tells me that you were not one of the original recipients of the letters, and merely acquired this off of some other poor sod. Really, that makes no difference to me one way or another. My job is to serve as an agent to purchase the merchandise requested by the gestures. Pendragon.
Real quick, as he's talking, because we're at the stall, do I see any symbols or anything that we would then know what that symbol was supposed
Make
to
an
be?
insight check. Do you specifically, Rowan, make an insight check with advantage? Actually, I guess this is a perception check. This would be a perception check.
Is it still with advantage, though, or?
Still with advantage, but it's perception rather than insight. I don't know if that changes the modifier. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I thought that's still pretty good. Scrolling. That's a 19 total.
19. What you notice.
Gonna freak out, aren't I?
As he reaches forward and takes like that letter that Nymue had put down to like look at it, and he like puts it back. His like the like lapels of his like robe kind of like shift as he moves, and you see that pinned beneath the collar on the one side of his robe is a single red cardinal feather.
Oh no.
None of us know what that means. Is that right?
I think Rowan is the only one who that means
Rowan
anything to.
knows.
Freaking wearing one. God help me all. Mine is tucked in my shirt, like deep down underneath the armor and everything, by the way. So I'm screaming internally, and I'm sorry, Nymue, for the screaming.
Nymue's
like trying really hard to keep a poker face, and it's just like, Rowan, deep breath. I don't know what you saw, but deep breath. Ow.
So, can you help me with this deal?
He says, "Oh yes." He says, however, as you might imagine, once word got out that I was to purchase any Naporian brought to my doorstep, there were a number of individuals lacking in certain scruples who thought it best to try to pull the wool over my eyes. So, before I can agree to any arrangement, there are certain checks and balances that we must undergo to make sure that you have indeed brought me the genuine article and not a painted-up imposter.
All right. Nymue starts cracking her back, like
Rowan starts cracking her neck a little. She's like,
he sort of looks to you and he says, I am curious. He turns away and he calls to the other individual who's like kind of backed off a little behind him, and he says, Doral. And the other elf steps up. As he gets a little closer, you actually see his like ears are a little shorter and his features are a little more squared. You think he might be a half elf as opposed to a full high elf. He says, Doral. He says, go inform the pens that I have a Naporian on my hands. The usual arrangement will be fine. And Doral kind of like nods and runs off in the direction that like you guys actually just came from. He says,
the usual arrangement, sir?
He says, yes. He says,
and
one too many times someone has brought to me, though he's a kind of gesture, he says, though not generally in such an agreeable mood, you really will have to tell me why your specimen here is simply seems to be quite fine with this arrangement, but it would not be the first time that someone has brought me a painted-up imposter and tried to pass them off as an Naporian, merely to collect the sum of money being offered.
Well, I'm going to quickly shift the mind link to him. I assure you it's genuine. And switch back to Rowan.
He, like, shifts his eyes to you, and he says, interesting.
It would seem, sir, and like you said, riffraff and others coming around, people without scruples trying to sell you fakes, as it were. Seems that you don't truly understand the type of businesswoman that I am.
He turns
I
to
found
Nymue.
her.
He like fully like turns away from you,
Ignores
even
me.
like as you're talking. After Nymue like mind linked with him, he turns to Nymue and he says, "Interesting, but not definitive. Yet curious. Why on earth are you so eager to be sold?"
She owes me a debt, sir. And her debt will be paid in full with the money that is offered to me. It's either she goes with you or I take her life that I once saved. There is no other in between here.
Make a
And
deception
if you're
check.
going to talk to anyone, you're going to talk to me.
Make a deception check. We'll keep it a deception check.
Smirking the whole way, like shit-eating grin.
Yeah. Is deception charisma?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you have an advantage.
Okay. I'm taking a picture because it's a natural 20.
Nice,
Thank
okay.
God for advantage. Because oh my God, the first one was bad.
He like turns back. And he fully does this. He goes, "Let us be quite clear about the relative stati between yourself and myself. We're in the Empire. I am an official broker sanctioned by the Emperor himself to conduct business in the very robust trade that is the labor industry here. You sell people. And
I
you're a
sell-
human."
One. I sell one.
He says, "I'm not sure that most people would make the differentiation.
That is not my problem.
Regardless, be very careful with that attitude of yours.
I have
Someone
only
might
asked
get
that
hurt."
you respect my business and what I have actually brought you as a genuine Naporian.
He says, "I have every intention of respecting your business. I will confirm for myself that this is the genuine article, and then our business transaction will go off without a hitch, and we don't have to see each other anymore, unless you have any other Naporians to bring me." He says, "If we are all quite done posturing, follow me. We'll be done with this in just a few moments, and I will be happy, should your friend here be the real deal, to pay you every last gold regal that is owed to you for her value."
I stare at him and I smirk a little. And then I just nod like a nice lady would, but I'm still smirking.
He just, like, turns and, like, glides off.
As he turns and glides,
down.
I flip my braid and I turn and look at that. If he wants to talk about posturing in his little outfit, then I will respond.
He does have a little
Rowan?
outfit.
You are so hot right now. Good job.
In my head, I'm still screaming. I feel like my mother. This is disgusting. Get me out of here.
You...
Rowan's having like a full breakdown. Like Nimue's hearing like just scattered crazy from Rowan right now.
So
Oh,
are
baby
you
girl.
guys following him?
Yes, I follow.
Okay.
Yeah, when he walks away, we will follow. But
You guys follow him. He leads you back over to that area where there were the pens. He leads you like kind of around some of them that you hadn't gone around before. And he brings you over this area, and there's an area where there's this like large enclosed, like caged in open space. And as you guys like walk up, you see his like assistant that he called Doral is already like standing there. There's another high elf with him who's like looking at Aelorn as you guys approach. And you guys see like a kind of a crowd is starting to gather like around this caged in thing. And they all kind of seem to be like scoping out Nymue. Aelorn brings you guys over to like this individual. Um, and he says, Kierlan. He gestures towards Rowan. He says, "This fine businesswoman has brought me a Naporian," she claims. He says, "At the very least, this one has displayed some interesting ability, but I would very much like to be sure, much in the manner that we did with the others. If you would be so kind." And Kiernan says, "But of course, Elon, I will be happy to." He says, "Do you have a preference?" And Aelorn, like, looks to Rowan and he goes, "The big one, I think." And he turns back and he, like, addresses you, Nymue, since you've, like, seemed to be, like, a willing participant in this and have, like, spoken to him. And he says, "If you would kindly step through that gate there into the open area, we may proceed."
I do. So they haven't tried to take my weapon, right?
As you go to, the Kiernan does kind of stop you, and he says, "If it is all the same, it is not anyone's desires that any of the merchandise be overly damaged. Yes, would you set aside your weapon here, please?"
I'm gonna throw it to Scylla.
All right.
I was gonna say I would offer to take it.
I will walk
I don't even
over.
look. I just like throw it at her.
I will walk over to Aelorn, or that's his name, yeah.
Aelorn is the merchant.
And I will, keeping my distance and being respectful, just say, "I assume this is some sort of test, but that considering that you have not paid me for her, should this not go how I want it, or how it should, given what she is?"
He says,
She comes back to me.
based on my previous experience in this market, if she is what you say she is in no danger. If she is a fraud, well, you're going to have bigger problems than that.
Given that she is true,
not getting paid.
it's fine, given that she is true. And I will sit
he
back
sort
and...
of he sort of turns and he gestures towards Kieran. He says, "You may proceed." And for those of you standing on the sidelines, like, as you see, like, a crowd has definitely gathered at this point. And they're, like, at the outside of this, like Nymue, you're in like an octagon at this point, like, right? Like, you're in like a cage match area.
Yeah.
And like, you guys see, like, betting starts to take place.
Oh shit.
Kiernan sort of like claps and gestures, and from the other side, like, 4 guys lead in one of those orcs that you had seen before in the cages. They've got him in this, like, there's like this collar on his neck that you can see clearly has runes on it that are like glowing, kind of like this like bluish color. And he has similarly bound like shackles on his wrists, and they're leading him in with like poles that are like connected to his collar, as they like stay at a distance, and they bring him in and they like open the door and they push him into this area with you. And 2 of them like hold him like by this pole like that are on his neck. The other 2 like go and they like unshackle his wrists. And as they like take the shackles away from his wrists, he goes like, just sort of like does one of these at like one of the elves, who fully falls down backwards like on his ass. And like all the other people around the octagon like laugh. And one of the dudes still holding the stick that's like attached to the thing around his neck, like pulls this thing out of his pocket. It's this little like crystal. And he like swipes his thumb down the edge of this crystal, and you see like what looks like a jolt of like lightning goes from this collar, and the orc goes like but he like doesn't make any further moves to like intimidate anybody, as the 4 of them like back out of this thing, close this door, and leave you now in here with this orc. He's easily 8 feet tall. He's like twice your like width. He probably weighs 2 or 3 times as much as you. And he has like scars all over his arms and his back and his chest. He has these 2 like massive tusks. His hair is shaved into like a mohawk that's been like tied atop. You see that like a lot of the hair has started to grow back on the sides of his head, like it hasn't been shaved in a bit. And he is like bare-chested, just has like cloth pants on, no shoes. And he looks at you in like as he steps in. And Aelorn says, "You will fight." He says, "If you have brought me a legitimate Naporian, legitimate Luna warrior, she should have absolutely no trouble." He does call into you. He says, "I would prefer if you did not kill him." He says, "Some specimen are too bestial to be appropriately broken of their ways and sold, but he does have his uses, and we're running low on them. So your best." He says, "I assure you he will not offer you the same courtesy if you are, in fact, not a Naporian. So let's see how this goes, eh?"
In my mind link to Nymue, I just say, "I am sorry. Please kick his ass. I will fix you up later."
Yeah, this would have been a lot easier if I had my Naginata. I am not strong, but I am fast. So we'll see what
Matt,
goes.
as I see this orc, does he bear any resemblances to Movar?
In so much that he's an orc, yes. In like any like markings or anything like that on him, no, not really.
Okay.
The orc, for his part, doesn't do anything yet. He's just standing there. He's looking at you, Nymue, but he's not. Doesn't look particularly like aggressive. He kind of has like a flat expression on his face. What I'm gonna have you guys do here is I'm gonna have both of you roll initiative, just so we have it.
You said that the helper was sent, and when we turned like the corner to this little octagon space, there was another gentleman standing with him.
Yeah. So, heck's this guy's name? Doral went and like talked to the guy that you heard called Kiernan here. Like Doral is Aelorn's assistant. Kiernan seems to be like in charge of whatever this area is.
Just making sure I had everything correct because I wasn't writing notes live.
What is your initiative, Nymue?
16.
16. Okay. So the as we like begin here, the orc is actually first in the initiative. He is gonna hold an action. He does not do anything. He's just like staring at you.
May I attempt to cast a spell before this begins, Matt?
You can. Are you trying to be like sly about it?
I want to try to like get into a crowd of people that are being noisy and casting lots and bets and things.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of like a Snape from
Yeah,
Harry Potter style. And I would like to cast a message towards the orc, if I could possibly do that.
You can.
Can I get within? I got to see the range of it just to make sure that's.
Is it 120?
Well,
He's
120
like
feet. Yeah,
you can
so-
get within like 20 or 30 feet of him, easy. Let's see.
It would just be in common.
Okay.
But Thyxes would say, kind of speaking into his mind, strong and honorable one, do you know of the Black Hills? Nod your head if you do.
You guys see this orc sort of like clearly he's like perturbed by like the voice in his head. He gives no other response to that. You're not sure if he understood you.
All right, nothing personal. I will, since they want the show, I will give them a show. How big is this arena that I'm in with him?
Like 15 feet to his side. It's vaguely circular. It's octagon shaped. So he's not more than 10 feet from you. When you.
All right, can I start off with showing off and do like a sly-powered leap by running and acrobating and trying to punch from above, like do a couple flips
absolutely
from above? Let me see.
Oh, I just realized it's been quiet for a bit. Turn that back on. You guys can't stream.
28 acrobatics with my guided ability.
Absolutely. So are you're able to certainly able to do that with your movement speed. Are you attacking him?
Yes, I'm going to try to punch because I don't have a weapon.
Yeah, make an unarmed strike. Unless you have the feat, this just will deal. If you hit, will deal 1 point of damage plus your strength.
I don't have strength, but can I use my psi guided ability to?
You can like psi enhance it if you want.
Yeah, okay. Ooh, I don't know if that hits. That's 12 plus 2, so 14 to hit.
14. A 14 does hit. You like run. You do sort of this like on box sort of like kick leap off of the like side of this cage, and come down with this like psi empowered punch.
So that's
so
1.
You'll deal
plus
1,
6 damage.
6 points of damage. Okay.
And my tattoos light up as I activate.
So you sort of like punch this orc in like the side of the head. He does not move. He like fully lets you punch him in the side of the head, just like he's like whipped and like straightens back up.
Second attack?
Goes back to what he was doing, which is nothing.
Oh no, natural 1 for the second attack.
Okay. So you're a little like thrown by the fact that like you just punched this guy as hard as you could in the head with like psi force, and he like did not retaliate or respond. So you like throw this second jab, but you sort of like pull the punch and like whiff a little bit because you were like kind of preparing to like for him to like swing back, and he didn't, and it threw you off your guard. So you miss on that second attack. For his turn, he again does nothing.
Does not feel good.
There are like annoyed mutterings coming from the gathered crowd that are watching this.
Alright, I'm just going to attack one more time and probably action surge into the solar plexus. So I guess that's 4 strikes. Oh boy. Natural 20.
Okay.
For the first one. So that's 2 damage. Oh god. Yeah, I'll do another side strike, might as well. So that's another 4 damage total.
Okay,
it was 2
so
plus times 2.
You've done 12 total.
Yep.
Okay. You sort of like confused. You like punch. The second one, psychic energy like comes out of it. Your tattoos flare. Rowan, you see that Aelorn like nods. Yes. The orc like doubles over. He looks up Nymue like inches from your face because like you punched him and he doubled over into you. And you make me an insight check.
Gladly. Okay. 17.
You see a like what you interpret to be like this like weary resignation in his eyes for a moment, and then he like leans back as that collar like shocks him again. From the side that one of those handlers has like hit him again, and he like he turns, and when he turns back, that like you saw that sort of like deep sort of sadness in his eyes, What you see when he turns back is he has, like, black, like, shark eyes.
Oh, no.
And he goes, like... and, like, roars in your face. And he is going to attack you, recklessly as he flies into a rage.
Is this his held action, or do I still get my other
No, this
three
is
attacks?
this is his turn. Because you made your
I
two
still have
attacks.
3 other attacks.
Oh, shit. Then
Yeah, 'cause I'm
finish your
I'm
attacks.
action first.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Finish your attacks first. This is what he does on his turn.
Okay.
He was about to hold his
Um,
turn again, and then they shocked him into a rage.
So that's... I don't think that's gonna hit. That's a 12 to hit.
12 does not hit.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you hit him, but, like, you punch solid muscle, and you don't think you do any damage.
Another 12 to hit. Last
You
one.
like, boom, boom, and it's sort of like punching a wall. You're like, that shit!
Okay,
Wring out your
18 to
hands.
hit. 18 to hit.
18 does hit.
Okay, so I can't do more psi in one go, so that's just 1 point of damage.
1 point damage. Okay. So you have done 13 total. So he does this on his
I
turn.
can't do it on each of my strikes. I lied.
Oh, okay.
So that's another 5 points of damage.
Okay.
Gotta
All right.
learn to read my stuff.
Punch him again. So on his turn, he was about to hold his action, and then they like shocked him, and it was like shorted out his brain, and he's like gone into a rage.
Yep.
He is going to recklessly attack you. He only has 1 attack, so he's going to recklessly attack you, but he'll give himself advantage. He's not going to need it. It was a natural 17 on the first one.
Oh, yeah.
So he is going to punch you for 5 points of damage. He just, like, straight arm punches you, like, square in your chest. And you're, like, slid backwards a couple of feet. And once again, he, like... and it is your turn.
Before Nymue goes, or as this is happening after she's punched, since we're still mind-linked, I'm going to think very quickly to her, Nymue, talk to him and explain to him what's going on. Have him fake going down, something, anything. Make it stop.
I will. I'll try, but he's
he's pissed, yeah.
reminding me of Keno right now, and I don't know if I can get to him. But I will switch over to the raging orc and be like, I don't want to hurt you. Pretend to fall.
Okay, make a persuasion check. But before you do that, you're in the process of doing this. This like moment is taking place between you and Rowan, and you guys hear this like metallic slam, and like a bunch of people look over. One of the other orcs has like punched the metal bar in the cage that they're in, and he's looking right at the orc that you're facing off against. And this orc yells out, do any of you speak Orcish?
Yes, I do.
You do.
I do. Oh shoot! No,
Shit,
I
nobody
don't.
speaks
Wait.
Orcish this whole time.
No.
Sorry. It's been a
He
minute.
yells out, he goes, Mokral! Nymue, so if you're the only one who speaks Orcish here, Nymue, you understand, Mokral is probably his name.
Okay.
The other word that was yelled is, there's no direct translation to common, but it is essentially the Orcish it like roughly translates to like the phrase like mind yourself lest you suffer dishonor, is what this orc like screams and bangs at this this orc that you are facing off against.
Hearing that in the mind link, I will switch from just telepathic to Orcish. I don't want to dishonor you.
But you have mind link with him, yeah?
I do, yeah.
Okay. As you like mind link with him, as this other orc yells to him, as you like switch and you speak to him in Orcish, he like
I plan to get us all out of here eventually. Trust me.
his eyes like dilate, and so he actually doesn't need to share a language with you in his head, right?
He doesn't.
Okay. Oh, you speak Orcish anyways. It doesn't matter.
I speak Orcish. That's why I'm trying to like help the situation.
You
but...
see, he like his eyes like undilate, kind of go back to normal. He looks at you curiously, and he says, after a moment, via the mind link. See, he like does some quick math and then speaks to you in the mind link. But he begins, as he starts talking to you in mind link, he begins circling you.
I'll
like,
join him in the circle.
So you guys like begin to like
yeah.
circle each other, right? And he like looks like he's sizing you up. In your mind, you hear he says, "You are a true one of these fighters that the long ears want. We can see this. They have brought many to us. You were true.
How many?
This is many impostors. They did not survive, my brethren. True fighters like yourself. 4 that I know of." He looks towards the cage, and at a glance you think there's maybe like 6 others in there besides him, 6 other orcs. He says, "There were more of us when we were taken here. Your people are formidable.
Trust me. Trust my party. We intend to save my people, and if we can, we will save yours." He
considers. He says, "I am Mokral. I am chieftain of the Long-Tooth tribe." He looks towards his others. "My rams are the last of us. We have dishonored ourselves twice."
I am Nymue, daughter of Naporia.
He says, "We lost our honor. First, when we allowed ourselves to be captured by the Long Ear. And again, when we languished here too long, that our tribe is surely dead. There is no honor to be gained by fighting like an animal. To die without honor, my soul would not be able to pass on to the Shadowlands and hunt with my ancestors. But you say you offer a chance for us to leave this place."
I have my honor too. Naporia is a very honorable land. I will keep my word.
"Then for this," he gestures towards the other orcs in the cage, "for them, my rams, the last of my people. I am chieftain. I will forever bear the burden of the death of the Long-Tooth tribe. But if they may find glory and honor, that is worth the price I will pay. I understand what must be done." He grins, but for like all casual observance, it's like a horrifying like war grimace. He says, "Do what you must, and I will await whatever plan you may have."
Get ready to fall. And I'm going to rush him and trying to like pull out his legs from underneath him and try to smack him on his back.
Yep.
And I'm trying to get him to encourage the fall.
You begin running at him. The second you move, he breaks into a sprint as well, and he lets out this, like, roar as he, like, runs at you. The two of you...
slide.
you slide, you come in, he throws what would have been a haymaker that would have, like, ripped your head clean off of your body. He throws this punch, you slide low, you kick his legs, he goes, like, completely vertical, and, like, boom, hits the ground.
I'm going to straddle him and just hold my fist above his head. I'm like, good display.
You do this. You see, as you're this close to them, you see his eyes flick towards where that elf is holding that like device. And he waits like 1, 2, 3, and then he goes, and he launches up like he's gonna like grab you around the neck. But
I don't even react.
When his hands get halfway there, he goes like, as you see, he gets like viciously shocked again. And Aelorn at the side is like holding up his hand. He says, "Enough, enough, enough. She has proven herself to be the true article. No need to waste another one of our orcs. Separate them."
I stand up and I will hold out the hand to help him up.
He's like fully unconscious as they like shocked the shit out of him. Yeah, he's like,
all right, I'll just stand up.
So you stand up. A bunch of like somebody opens the door like to your side where you can come back to like where Aelorn and your group is standing. The other side opens. A bunch of those elves come in and just sort of like start to drag him back out and bring him back over to the crate with his the pen with his other orc companions. And as you are brought back, Aelorn turns Rowan to you and he says, "I am surprised." He says, "I have turned away, I've lost count at this point, at least 24 individuals trying to pass off a fake Naporian for the real article to earn the payday. This is a rare occurrence for the true thing to be brought." He says, "I have no further inquiries that need to be made. I will happily pay you the agreed upon sum. We may be on our way."
Can we take a quick break?
Yeah, quick.
Absolutely,
I was like,
yeah.
I want to bug him, but I want to pee.
Yeah.
If you guys want to take a quick break, we will take a quick break. We will be back in about 5 minutes, folks, and we'll see where this is going. As Nymue has apparently proven herself the real deal to this Ignean slave merchant. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back as soon as I figure out where the mid-roll is. There it is. Bye. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I should switch off of our battle music and go back to our background music. Which, again, our players can't hear because YouTube killed GroupieBot.
Rip Groovy.
Shot it right in front of us all. Anyway, so we return from our break here as the Nymue has just defeated who we have learned is Mokral from the Longtooth tribe, which long-term viewers of the show might recognize. It's not the first time he's been in the show. But Nymue, through some psychic communication, made a deal with Mokral that she would get him and his rams, the remaining 6 orcs that are with him, out of this place. And he basically agreed to throw the fight in exchange for cutting that deal. So you guys have been respectively brought out of the octagon, as it were, that you were fighting in. And Aelorn Relalian leads you guys back to his booth, his brokerage stall. And Rowan, you have taken the lead kind of on this as the sort of the seller of the Nymue. And Aelorn says, I am authorized to pay 150 gold regals for a legitimate Lunar Warrior, which I am satisfied you have brought me a genuine article. I am happy to pay you that sum of money, those terms.
Out of character real quick, that's
It's a
pretty dang good gold in this entire world, right? Because isn't the Regal's the highest level, right? It's
I'd have to go look off the top of my head, but yeah, it's quite a bit of money.
Okay.
Yeah, because 1 Ignian gold is worth 5 Mithrilian gold, so take that and multiply it by 5, and that's
it's quite a bit.
Currency we have.
It's quite a bit.
Just double checking, make sure I remembered the currency here.
It's not set you up for the rest of your life type of money, but that amount of money would keep the Grimm's Folly running for half a year probably.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Good thing you're real. I will look at him and just kind of nod very primly, and then I'll say, I do have one question, because you actually brought up a good point earlier. Apparently I am a seller of creatures. This was rather enjoyable, so who you said the name Pendragon earlier.
He gestures towards Nymue, who has the paper. Just
yes. Is there any chance of meeting him and finding out what other creatures besides Naporians he may be interested in?
He says, no, absolutely not. He says, bring me more Naporians and I will pay you for them.
And you are the only person I will ever speak to.
Yes, of course. That is the arrangement.
You can see... leans over to Scylla and whispers, but not whispers loud enough this guy to hear, go, I don't think this guy knows who Pendragon is.
So you're doing that you want him to hear that, yeah?
Yeah.
I smirk.
He goes, no, I absolutely don't. He says, he says, I was hired to serve as an intermediary for
and who hired
interested
you?
Parties. He says, well, now why would I tell you that? He says, if I go spreading around information on who my buyer is that I'm supposed to bring the desired Naporians to, what's to stop anyone from just circumnavigating me altogether? No. I only make money so long as I keep this information to myself. He says, but you are quite accurate. I have no idea who Pendragon is. He says, I was hired to pay a certain amount of money for Naporians. Yeah, go ahead.
Somebody better than me, check him.
Yeah, I want to get in on that too. I
am
a nat 20.
There we go.
You think he's fully telling you the truth. 2 nat 20s?
Oh, well, now I have to roll.
Now you gotta roll a
Please
nat
roll.
20.
We
And
gotta
if you
get a
don't,
20.
Although it's
Shame.
a 19 if I roll.
Aw, so close.
Oh, wait, insight check? Oh, hold on.
insight check. Yeah.
Uh,
I think it's wisdom.
it's also a minus.
Wisdom.
one. Roll a 12.
A 12.
Okay.
So regardless of the rolls there, we got double nat 20s and a 12. You don't get the sense that
Because
this
of
guy
my
is
brain.
being dishonest at all. You do not think he knows who Pendragon is.
Okay, just
He
come back,
like
come back.
he like somebody
He's a little
hired him
scumbag.
to do this,
Okay.
and he makes money so long as he keeps doing this, and he has no intention of telling you who he sells or gives the Naporians to after he's bought them from like people
Have
that have
intentions.
brought them into him.
Does he have intentions of keeping his kneecap?
You do get the sense that he
He likes
likes his
his
kneecaps. Yes.
This guy, but not the other guy beside him.
That might be slightly the
Wait, so
different character move.
hold on, is Nymue with us right now?
Yeah.
She came out of the pit. She's with us.
Okay, I just want to be keeping an eye on her and like where she's going and if they're leading her anywhere. I am clocking that because if anyone's gonna have to go and like find her and break her out, it's probably gonna be me as a mouse. So I'm just keeping
sure.
a mental like note
So-
of where she is at all times.
What happens at this point is as he pays you 150 Ignean gold
Right.
regals.
Okay. If he's holding it out, I don't take it right away.
Well,
yet,
he
'cause I
like
want-
he doesn't give it to you because he counts it out in front of you, puts it into a little purse, and he sets it on the counter and kind of keeps his hand on it. And his assistant Dural comes around and he has one of those collars that you saw on Macraw. And he comes up to you, Nymue. No insight check required. This man is fully aware that like you can snap his neck if you want to. So
Uh-huh.
he's like
Is this really necessary if I'm agreeable?
he says I did just see you beat a 8'3", 340-pound orc into unconsciousness in about
Question.
15 seconds. Yes, I
Question.
think the collar is necessary.
Okay, question though. Does this stop that? Like, is it a magic suppressor? Is that all that is? I mean, I saw the shock thing. That sucks, but like,
He says it is a deterrent to disagreeable courses of action and behaviors.
just so I don't
And
punch
it
you.
is,
as
it is, and it
anybody else.
is, and it is a rather effective incapacitator, should the situation arise.
I have a question. Can we still see the remote?
You don't see the remote for this particular one currently. You just see
So
Dural
they must
has
be
the
like-
collar.
Oh, God, it's like a remote. Gotcha.
It had like a crystal like
Crystal.
thing that was linked to it. Yeah.
Did it look like he was taking blood, like running his, or was it a fingerprint?
No, it was basically like there was like a sigil on the crystal that he was like
Okay.
swiping and like activating a spell that was like ingrained
Okay.
into the collar.
No blood magic. That's good. That makes me might feel a little better.
So unless anybody is doing anything, Dural is going to put this collar on.
I hold my hand up to stop him from putting that around her.
Dural like stops and he like looks between you and Aelorn, and Aelorn kind of like, yes.
I'm trying to decide if this is exactly what I want for her.
It's an interesting device there. Do you mind me asking how it works? Exactly.
Who are you asking this to? Dural or Aelorn?
I guess either one who might give me it, like posing it to both.
Dural looks like he's not, like, he knows that he is not, like, of the status to speak in this conversation, and Aelorn looks at you like you're, like, something particularly gross he saw on the bottom of his shoe. And
Looking
does
at
not
Murderbeard
respond.
like that? Okay.
Yeah, like, he, like,
Okay.
fully, like, no, doesn't hide it, like, fully looks at like, the dwarf as if, like, ugh, and, like,
He goes,
doesn't
"Well,
respond.
I did happen to notice that it does get worked with some sort of gem. It's just saying my people are particularly good at gems. I might be able to get you a good line on more equipment.
He says, that won't be necessary. We're conducting a business transaction here. I give you money. I take the Naporian. I don't know what other conversation we need to have here.
I just smirk
You
at
told
him
me
and
you were
say,
going to kill her if you didn't sell her to me, so I'm not
Oh.
entirely sure what the sudden concern for her welfare is.
You have misunderstood. It has nothing to do with her welfare. It has to do with the amount of money I can get for her. And I said I would kill her if she did not go willingly. Since she is willing, she is fine right now. But I still have not touched your gold, so she is still technically mine. However, given that it is such a pain to deal with these sniveling, obnoxious creatures around me, one less in my vicinity is perfectly fine. And Rowan snatches the gold, looks at Nymue and goes, "Good luck, darling. Aren't you so glad I saved your life?" And I turn and walk away. And internally, Rowan is like screaming at Nymue, like, I'm so sorry, I love you, I love you, I love you. But she's like,
It's still super hot.
As Nymue like looks towards Rowan and like Rowan grabs the gold, Dural goes like and claps the like the collar, backs up 5 steps.
I just book it. Side note, I will book it as quickly away from them as I can without looking like I'm running. Like, just kind of like, I'm done with this dude. I'm sick of this.
Sure.
And the second I can get to an alley or a corner, Rowan is going in that alley and effing puking because she is so uncomfortable.
Okay. So
She's
Rowan
having a nervous puke breakdown in an
Rowan
alley
sprints
somewhere
away from this area. The rest, what are the rest
No,
of you
not-
doing as Rowan? Not
Not
sprints, but
sprinting, I'm
Rowan
just-
like fast walks
Like,
out of here.
haughty walk.
What are
Like-
the
like,
rest of you
I'm
doing?
done with this. You're useless to me. Walk. Yeah. Like, and then I'm puking in an alley. I'm so done.
Are the other 3 of you following her?
Thyxes
Nimue
would
obviously is not
probably
going
sit
anywhere.
There just kind of shocked for a moment, do a couple double takes or triple takes, and then just kind of and then hurry off behind her.
Okay. Scylla and Macbeth.
Yeah, I guess I'll follow.
I'm just kind of standing there, and I'm like just kind of like leaning on Nimue's Naginata, and I'm just like watching these people for a little while, just like looking down at them, and I'm just watching them for a little while.
Okay.
I'm just gonna stare
How long are you going to stand there?
until one of them says something to me.
Okay. So, after the other 3 leave, and like now it's Dural, the assistant, Aelorn, the broker, the slave broker, Nymue in the collar, and you, Scylla. The other 3 like leave. Rowan kind of like fast walks off. Thyxes and Murderbeard go after her. Aelorn like to Dural. He says, "Bring her to the pens. I will make the arrangements." And Dural is gonna try and like Nymue like lead you. You see that he does at this point now produce the like control thing for this. The
1
collar.
second.
Yeah.
And then she says that to the guy like with the rope. 1 second, and I'm going to unlatch my purse and toss it at Scylla, and it is my gold and the wooden carving that Murderbeard gave me is in it.
Take it, and I'll just like jingle it.
There is a
And I'll-
like Aelorn like for a moment looks like he might be about to suggest that like Nymue and all of her shit that was on her was like purchased by him and thus is his. But like he looks at you, Scylla, and like seems to think like it's just not worth it. So he doesn't say
I
anything.
lost the poker with her. I owe her. So
He shakes his head. And Dural is gonna lead you off to like the pens sort of in that area where the other orcs were.
yeah, I follow.
Okay. So he'll lead you off, and Nymue, Scylla, you're kind of staying there still.
I'm just watching these people. I'm just trying to like.
So you are
Be
left
weird.
largely alone with Aelorn Relolian. As like there's other people around, but like you're kind of like hovering near his establishment here. And he like kind of goes about. He opens up a ledger, and he writes some stuff in it after like Nymue is led away and the group leaves and stuff. Closes the ledger up, like slips it back. Kind of like does a couple of other like just sort of tidying things, and eventually like looks to you like, can I help you? He says, then I suggest that you follow along with your compatriots, lest I be inclined to summon the city watch for you harassing a representative of the city.
Oh, am I gonna say something nasty? Am I gonna say something nasty?
You could save it for when you kill him later. That's my only vote.
How is this guy like scrawny?
You do not think you would have difficulty with him if it came to a physical altercation.
Unfortunate. You don't look like you would make a good meal. And then I just make like a rude gesture at him, like whatever is a rude gesture in like Firbolg culture, and I walk away and I'm just like looking at him the whole time. And I'm trying to look like very predatory, and Scylla's like very low charisma, but I'm just trying to look real creepy the whole time I'm gone. Just going to go find my friends.
A rude gesture in Firbolg. Let's do some world building right now. So we've already kind of established, based on kind of your criteria and the interaction that we had with the herbalist on Glazout, that sort of Firbolg mannerisms and like body language and gestures are kind of very they're very tied to like certain like animal behaviors. You remember that older lady like kind of like scruffed you in a sign of like matronly affection. So, well, what if for Firbolgs, perhaps you like grab the hem of your shirt and you like lift your shirt up just to show him like your stomach briefly, and then like walk away as if to say in Firbolg, like, I think so little of you as like a predator that I can show you my belly. And, like, I'm just not concerned that you can hurt me. And you just, like, drop it back down and walk away. And this means for sure nothing to this guy. He's like, fucking what? What a weird day I'm having. But you walk away from him.
Yeah, I give him a big old, the Firbolg fuck you. and then I make my way to my friends. But I saw where they took her, right? Like, at least what direction?
You see you know that he's leading her back to the pens where, like, the orcs and the other people are contained.
Okay, cool.
So, I think the way I want to handle this, now that you guys have been separated, Nymue, were you trying to keep the ring on your person? The Ring of Sending? Okay. Surprisingly, nobody is getting too close to you. Like, they did just see you from their perspective, like, with very little effort, like, beat the shit out of a humongous orc. So they're kind of giving you your berth. You're able to sort of, like, conceal the ring on your finger or in your hand or whatever.
We've discussed this before, but, like, the Naporian, like, lunar warriors, Kalashtar, kind of have, like, a mythology about them because they're so rare and people spread like, rumors.
And they
so
know,
she wants
like,
to play into those rumors.
Yeah, like, they saw for a fact that you were the real deal, and, like, Kalashtar are not thought to be something that you mess with. So people are giving you a wide berth. Nobody's like haranguing you. You put in one of these cages on your own. You are like catty corner to where the orcs are. You do see that Mokral has like regained consciousness at this point. I think the way I want to handle this is we'll kind of like not quite time lapse this. But basically I want to know for the other four of you, like, what are you guys doing now that Nymue has been, like, separated from you? And Nymue, like, what are you doing over the course of the rest of the day? Because basically, like, from this point, nothing is going to happen for the rest of, like, today.
Yeah.
So, like, you guys can kind of tell me what your plan is going forward. We'll sort of, like, montage past that, and we'll pick back up when, like, the next piece of action happens.
Sure. My only plans for the moment is to talk more with Mokral. talk more with Mokbral and get information if he's seen these 4 that they've taken that were legit. She wants to know who they are, what they look like, if she knows them.
Okay.
And just tell him to be patient because they're gonna be back.
Okay. So he is able to tell you that the 4 other individuals that were, so there were like a dozen or so individuals that were brought that were just like opportunistic people, like dressing, like they like dyed some poor schmuck's hair and like put markings on them and like brought them here. You know, like he says like several of them had their like tongues cut out and stuff. Like not great. Like some people tried to bring like non-Naporians here and pass them off to try and sell them to this guy. And this after this guy apparently maybe did this once or twice and it wasn't the real deal, he started doing this thing where he would like bring, anytime anybody brought him a Naporian, he would bring them here and make them fight one of the orcs. And in the case of like the orcs versus somebody being faked as a Naporian, pretty much the orc would just like beat whoever it was to death and that would be the end of it. And he does say that in several instances after like the fake Naporian got like beat down, Aelorn summoned the guards and arrested the people that had like tried to fake him out. He doesn't know what happened to those people after that, but he imagines it wasn't good. In the case of the Naporians, he says there was 4 of them that came.
4, yeah.
Between the 4 of them, they were the first one that came was he knows there was 2 males and 2 females.
Okay.
He's not super familiar with like non-orcs, so he has a little bit of a hard time like giving you specific. Yeah, I saw Scylla just mouth they all look the same. It's a little bit like he kind of like has a rough time like telling you how old he thinks they were. Like,
could he tell me the colors of their markings?
He says there was 2 with. Actually, I guess this is a moment to clarify some Naporian lore. What types of different color markings do you imagine Naporians have, and what does that represent?
I think it's tied to like, because the spirit that's tied to you is from like Gaia, like Earth itself, like the elements. So it would be either an element or an arcane like power, would be like necrotic or radiant or whatever, like those type of feelings, like mine's psychic.
Okay. Let's say in
my
that
brother's
case, he
markings
tells
are
you.
red as a note.
Okay. He tells you that there was a male,
Okay.
then 2 females, and then a male, in that order that he knows of. He has a hard time gauging how old they were. He thinks one of the males and one of the females was a little bit, like, older.
Okay.
And he thinks one of the females and one of the males was, like, younger. He tells you that, in order, red markings, green markings, green markings, red markings. He thinks that the first male was like a little bit older. He thinks the first female was like kind of like you. He thinks the only one he's really sure about is he's pretty sure the second female was like older, was more mature.
Older. Okay.
And the most recent one that he says came in here like a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
He thinks was a little bit younger as well. Again, he guesses like maybe your age, and that one had red markings.
Probably the most recent one is my brother, maybe, but I waited to know. Okay.
That's the information that he is kind of able to provide you. In talking to him, just some other information that you glean. You had heard him say that he's a member of the Longtooth tribe. He is the chieftain of the Longtooth tribe. The 6 remaining bulls that he has with him are what is left of a contingent of 14 that he left they left their village with. He tells you that his people, his village, suffered an outbreak of amaranth fever, which is something that is pretty commonly known throughout, like, Orahol. It's a sickness that is very contagious, very difficult to overcome, and only has one very, very specific cure, which is a salve made from a very specific plant that is grown only in the Empire. Tells you that his people, his tribe, came down with an outbreak of this. He and the few remaining healthy of his bulls left the Black Hills, traveled north from Honorand into the Empire. Tells you that he met a group of people on their travels, one of whom wrote him a piece of paper that he was supposed to give to somebody bearing a certain, like, insignia. He is able to, like, surreptitiously, at one point, he, like, draws it in the dirt, and it looks like the letter M in common. This person, he identifies him as a human that he met, gave him a letter, which he couldn't read because he does not read common or speak common, and told him to find some people with that symbol and give this to them, and that they would help him. His raiding party did so, and this group of people gave them information on where they could find a convoy that would have a shipment of the medicine that they needed for their people for this. They raided the convoy, took the medicine, but before they escaped back out of the Empire's borders and got back into Honorand, they were captured. That's how they ended up here. Several of his bulls were killed in the process of raiding the convoy. A couple of more died, like, trying to escape. And he says that, of the 4 true Naporians that have come through here, they are responsible for having killed 3 of his remaining, like, bulls. The very first one killed one of his people. The third one, the second female, they sent 2 of his people against her. And she ended up killing them both.
Oh, shit.
In combat. He seems to harbor no ill will towards this at all.
Yeah.
Like, he regrets that they died a death that is based on, like, whatever his traditions are considered, like, dishonorable. Or like they were not able to, like, earn themselves honor in a way that, like, seems to be important to him in their death. But he doesn't blame the Naporian that they were forced to fight. The first female and the final male both left their opponent alive. In their fight. So that's everything that Macral has.
Does he know how quickly, like, do they remove the Naporians, like, rather quickly once they
He
acquire
says,
them?
yeah, he says, like, somebody is going to come and take you tonight. He says, he says every time that this has happened, like, someone will come and take you away tonight.
Okay.
And he says, like, I don't know what happens after they take you. That none of the Naporians that have ever been through here that, like, were taken have ever come back here at all.
All right. With that, I'm going to try and send Scylla a message then with the ring.
Okay, before you do your message, let's switch over. What are you guys doing during the day? The remainder of today.
Probably hanging out in the local tavern.
Hanging out in the tavern?
Getting drunk like, oh god, finally we got rid of her.
No. Yeah, it's easy enough for you to find a tavern if that's what you guys are looking to do. I'll leave it up to you guys. Do you want to, like, take a quick rewind here and go back to, Rowan, like,
puking in an alley.
puked, like ran away from you and like broke down as soon as she was out of sight. And like you guys presumably caught up with her, or at least Thyxes and Murderbeard caught up with her like in the midst of that. Do you guys want to like rewind to that?
You can do that. Yeah.
So yeah, let's do that.
Rowan.
So Rowan, we'll rewind a bit. Rowan, you like sprint out of, or not sprint, but you like quick walk out of sight. You get around a corner, you like run to the end of this alley, and you just like begin to like just vomit this anxiety out. And like 10 to 15 seconds later, Murderbeard and Thyxes like come around the corner, and join you there.
Thyxes would probably, as he's running around the corner, be like super amazed and excited about what he just witnessed with Rowan. Like, wow, Rowan, that was ew. Are you okay?
She just shakes her head no and is like keeps having to habitually throw her braid back over her shoulder to keep it from going in the puke. And she's just like leaning against the wall, like she's not looking at them.
Wow, Grohl's stew looks the same coming up as it does going down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure how I feel about that.
It's better than beans, I guess.
Most things are better than beans.
Shut up, Captain. Rowan will straighten up and kind of like make sure there's no puke on herself, essentially. Make sure she didn't get out on her boots or nothing. And just sigh and lean against the other wall, like step back against the other small alleyway wall and just lean her head back and close her eyes for a second. She's very uncomfortable.
Thyxes is a sympathetic puker, so he goes and pukes too in the corner.
Okay.
No!
Well, now I feel left out.
Murderbeard, are you going like?
No.
Okay.
No. Well, if everybody is done rearranging their innards, let's. You all right? You want to talk about it?
Preferably not, unless there's nothing we have to do for 4 days and a ton of alcohol. That's when you'll get me to talk about it. Where is Scylla?
We like lean around the corner.
Good question.
Still see
Where
her
is
like
Scylla?
standing
You see
next
her
to
like
the
leaning on top of the Naginata, just like looking at this dude like writing something in a book back at his stall, or at like a block away.
So like Murderbeard,
I just turn around back to the girl. I'm not going over there.
No.
I'm not going over there.
Like
I
she's,
just,
and she goes, she's doing Scylla stuff.
she's doing it. She's busy. She's doing her thing right now.
I guess we'll just wait for her here. I mean, she can. She's the one that can find us. So we'll just wait for her. Maybe not by the puke though. And Rowan will like
Well, I
step
mean-
out of the alley and like
If we want to
Now
make
go
it easier for her to find us, we stay in the area of the puke.
we'll stay around here, but we're not going to stand over the puke. We're going to wait for her over here. And Rowan will like step out of the alley and lean against the building wall and just wait.
It's like people like walk by and Murderbeard's like, I wouldn't go down that alley.
Pick another alley. Pick another
Alright,
alley.
so after a couple of minutes, Scylla does like wrap up what we saw her do there before, and she comes and joins you guys.
I cast prestidigitation and make it smell like potpourri.
Thank you. Thyxes has my back. Thank you.
Why does it smell like beans and lilacs over here?
Oh, that was me. It was the old Murderbeard gas. Just
Hmm.
ignore it.
I want to drink his marrow.
I want to rip his head off.
Mm.
If I rip his head off, you can drink his marrow. Just make it easy.
I'm clipping that.
Oh God.
And now I might vomit.
Do you want me to track Nymue?
Yeah, I don't want her in there any longer than she has to be. We need to get her out and get them out and put those collars on them and rip their heads off.
Okay. So I take out like a little piece of driftwood that has like a little, it's like in a forked shape, and I like shape some seawater around it, and then it like will, I'm casting locate object, Nymue has that little like moon clasp in her art. I'm casting it on her on that.
Yeah.
The like lunar warrior brooch thing. And it's if that object, which is familiar to me, is within 1,000 feet of me, I know the direction to its location, and if it's in motion, I know the direction of its movement.
Cool. How long does that spell last?
It's it's 10 minutes up to concentration.
Okay. So I mean, I'll tell you, for the next 10 minutes, like, she moves, like, she finishes moving a little bit, and then, like, she is in one position. She's in one place. She stops moving.
Okay, and
until, like, the spell ends.
I get, like, the sense of, like, where she is.
You kind of figure, like, based on what you heard and, like, what you sense with your magic, she got brought over to that pens, and she got put in a cage there, and that's where she is now.
She's that way. She's not moving anymore. She knows to send me a message if anything important comes up. I can easily get to her. But I think we should give her some time. She might need to figure things out on the inside.
Do we... I mean, I know we probably have to wait to let things settle down, but... Should we go get Movor and Melted Snow and Tea Kettle and get a group together to stake everything out, or should we leave them at the boat?
I kind of wanted to talk to Movar about this Longtooth tribe.
I think we can talk to them, but maybe we go to the boat. I don't want to risk them getting captured, and I think a small group of people doing whatever we're going to do is probably better.
That's what I was concerned about. I want backup, and at the same time, I don't want anyone else involved.
And we want to make sure our escape route is secure.
Yeah, well, if all goes as well as we would like it to go, maybe we'll just have the orcs with us at the end and they can talk to Movor
Also,
themselves.
I would like to smuggle some explosives off the Grim's Folly into this town.
We should have brought some, knowing what we were getting into.
Could we have even... There is no easy way to smuggle explosives in, especially on our small little...
I mean, nobody, like, as far as you're aware, nobody has, like, searched your cargo, but, like, you're already here. So, like, I'm not going to allow a retroactive, we have a bunch of bombs in this instance.
No, I was just saying that doesn't seem...
Oh, I was like to think
inconspicuous.
Like, I don't know how easy it is to hide like explosive. Because Murderbeard's like, oh yeah,
pulls up in his beard and gets it
as a hand grenade.
Yes. He just he just does this as if he was like shaking dandruff out of his beard, except it's all gunpowder. Just comes down.
He has dynamite sticks tied to pieces of his beard. Yeah, dynamite sticks under his beard at all times.
Do you want to wait on the ship?
It's up to you guys. I think I'm done making decisions for the day. You just tell me who to stab and when.
Alcohol to put into my mouth.
Then lead the way.
Okay, so you guys are gonna find a tavern. Is the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe like somewhere between here and the ship, so that if we want to like go back and forth, like that option is like realistic for everyone.
Yeah, easy enough.
What time of day is it now, though?
It's like. All this didn't take that. Yeah, all this didn't take that long. It's probably like barely noon at this point.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys are finding a tavern. Easy enough. You find a not quite dockside, but like sort of just a tavern that's kind of like adjacent to the markets, but like in the direction of the docks. It is called the Babbling Brook Tavern. And
innkeeper is a lady named Brooke who doesn't shut the fuck up.
Yeah. It's spelled Babbling Brook, Brooke, as in the name, and you guys enter, and there is a half-elven man behind the bar. There's a couple of patrons in here, just kind of like having a drink or having like a midday meal here, kind of doing whatever their thing. And you guys are able to enter into the bar, and you can grab a table, head up to the bar if you want, whatever you want to do in here.
Following the captain.
I'll go straight to the bartender.
Okay. You head up to the bartender, and he says, good day to you, sir. What can I get for you?
What's your strongest ale?
I only have the one. Just called ale.
What a fine establishment.
This is, yes, well, I have elected to serve, all races and creeds equally, and as such, I am constantly harried by the establishment in the city, and so I have ale, brand ale. And that is just sort of what it is today and every day of my life.
Well, seeing as you're the only non-racist in town, I guess we'll take a bunch of ale.
I am not the only one, but I am certainly the most favorite of the extremely racist members of the city guard to come and throw flaming bags of excrement onto my porch.
Ah, that's what that smell is.
Yes, I scrubbed it as much as I could, but it sort of doesn't come out after a while. Anyway,
Thyxes cast prestidigitation.
This is
Lilac once again.
thank you. A brief and glorious reprieve before the nightly poop bagging, as I've come to call it. Anyway, my life is very sad. As you can tell, here are your ales. That will be 1 copper piece each. Thank you. If you need anything else, I shall be here. My name is, in fact, Lawrence.
When he says 1 copper piece, Rowan kind of like sits back up and then goes, "Oh crap! I didn't give that kid actual money." And then starts to feel bad again, and then makes a decision to find him later and give him a proper.
I turned around and I mean, if it's any consolation, that kid's probably a huge piece of shit.
Yeah, but I get the feeling that this is his only option in a town where it is what it is right now. She kind of looks at Lawrence and then looks at Murderbeard.
Yes, and the alternative of trying to be a decent sentient being is that people throw flaming bags of poop on the stoop of your tavern on a regular basis.
I give him, because I'm pretty sure the conversion from Mifflinday money to Ignian money would mean that 5 coppers comes out to 2 silver and 5 coppers, because it's worth like 5. So I give him that. I think that's right. Ooh.
Give him the money. He goes, I don't.
Yeah, I give him.
I will. Frankly, I'm going to assume this is correct. I have a disorder. I can't do math or read, so this is fine. I trust
give him
you.
2 silver.
He
Yep.
takes like whatever coin you need to give him, and he just takes it. Yeah, thank you, very good. And he gives you a bunch of just gives you guys a round of ales. They taste like ale. They're ale flavored. They have ale effects.
This like natty light ale?
Yeah, kinda.
Oh. I just sent some people back like 10 years.
Why does this taste like I should be drinking it in a basement?
He says, the door to the basement is just there if you wish.
Oh, I'm
good.
I'm gonna go sit somewhere.
So as you guys, so we'll reach the kind of a fast forward point of the thing here. Nymue is going to sit in a cage for the duration of today. Is there anything that you guys are doing besides hanging out in a bar for the duration of today?
I really like Lawrence, guys. I mean,
I know you do.
he's
I
Thyxes,
feel
why
bad
do you
for him.
attach yourself to the worst people?
I don't think
I'm
it's the
right
worst
here.
thing
I
Include
can
myself in that list.
I can clearly hear
not a-
everything you're
he's
saying.
not. He is
Am I
not a bad
wrong,
guy.
Lauren?
He just keeps on having bad things happen to him. I mean, people are throwing flaming bags of poop onto his porch.
Captain, I think you forget that while you make a joke of the fact that he attaches himself to the worst people, including yourself, that you are actually a good man.
Yesterday
just
I
pretend
saw
you're
a
not.
child fall down and skin their knee, and when I tried to help them, 3 other youths came out and beat me up and took all of the coin I had in my pockets.
Lawrence, this
You
is
see,
what
that's
I was
exactly
Not a
what I'm
bad
talking
guy,
about.
he's
That's
just
what I'm
not-
talking about. He's not a bad guy. No.
This fine lady and I were having a moment, and you just
I mean, that
peed
was
all
a
over
bit
it with
not
that
helpful.
depressing story.
I'm playing with my herbalism kit, alright? I'm working on something. I'm ignoring all of them.
I look at Lawrence and go, I appreciate the honesty. I'm trying to help your case right now. Captain, you know what I said. I mean what I said. Thyxes, I'm with you on the adopting of people. We will get a whole little horde of people that deserve better to go with us eventually, but we literally cannot get every single person here on our little fishing vessel back to the ship. Not today.
Oh, no, I wasn't implying that. I'm sorry. I just really enjoy meeting new people, and I tell you, Lawrence over there, I tell you,
Oh,
that's a good person.
oh,
A good person.
oh,
You
Thyxes,
look
you were
over
a
at Lawrence,
little-
and he's got like a little like.
Oh, no.
He's got like a little pudding cup, and he's like eating it, and he drops
Eating it with his
drops kind of
hands?
like a blob on his shirt. He's oh,
Chat gave
So-
Lawrence 5 gold.
scoops up and just eats it off of his shirt.
Chat gave Lawrence 5 gold.
He scoops into the bottom of his pudding cup, and there's like a 5 gold piece in it. Oh, this is the most money I've seen in months. Oh,
Oh, man.
The
don't.
golden ticket.
Don't-
I guess
you
go
not-
to
Please
John's
don't steal any more of
ticket.
my ale-branded ale. I need to go immediately to the back room and not
As
cry.
he's- as he's-
If you hear anything that sounds
as
like
he-
crying, it's not that. Okay, and he
Oh,
he
God.
leaves the room.
I turn to Thyxes and I go,
Before he runs off, I'm gonna cast Prestidigitation and clean the stain off of his shirt.
Aw.
Okay. Oh, this is the greatest day of my life. Oh.
Funny.
I turn to Thyxes and I go,
Funny.
did he not make that pudding? Like what?
It's been in the bottom pot for 5 years and he didn't know. It's a pot that he doesn't clean.
He hid it there months ago, and he's eating really bad pudding. But
Murderbeard takes a notepad out of his beard, is note to self: never
If-
eat at this place.
If you skim off the crust on the top, the underlayer is generally pretty good.
You make me want to skim the crust off my life, okay? Just stop talking.
You know, the crust can be very nutritious.
Okay.
I do find that it is full of nutrients, but it
everybody send your message quickly.
sometimes it does do rather unfortunate things to my digestive tract.
Shut up.
So basically, Murderbeard, Rowan, and Thyxes are falling apart. Scylla is trying to make a healing potion in the background, and Nimue's in a cage.
Sending a message to Scylla.
What is
I
that?
think
What
that's
is
a good place to end.
what is the message that you sent to
message-
Scylla?
End the
I
campaign. right
counted. So, we need to save these orcs. I'm told they'll be taken tonight. Can you track me after they do? There have been 4 other Naporians taken.
Okay, so here's the question. After someone casts sending on me, can I like speak to my friends, or does that count as the message that would like go? 'Cause
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
wanna,
no. Like you
literally
can
repeat
you can
back.
certainly talk to them and then like deliberately send the message you want to send back.
Okay, as she's like sending it, I'm basically just gonna repeat like what she's saying.
Yeah.
And I just nod at my friends, like, I can do that. Sounds good. Okay, I
Yeah.
will. Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, oh wait, she already sent the message. I was gonna see if we can get more information. Never mind.
Okay,
I wanted
I
more
will.
strategy, but we're good.
I
Check.
will respond. Yes, I can track you. Can probably get the orcs out right now too. Cause some mayhem.
Okay.
Fuck bitches. I don't know.
I want to kill that elf guy now.
That's exact. Oh, the now gets cut off. That was exactly
Oh.
25 words. So you get everything up to now, as a response.
Yeah, that's 2
and-
for 2. One from Rowan and one from Scylla.
So let's we'll fast forward at this point. Just to give you guys one last chance. The bar crew. We already know kind of what Nymue is doing for the rest of the day. She's talking to the orcs. The bar crew. Are you guys doing anything else between now and like sundown?
Yes.
Scylla, go.
I am casting Animal Messenger, so I will go outside at some point.
Okay.
And if I see like a seagull, just like some kind of little bird, I'm gonna
Easy enough.
like hold out one of my good berries. I have like the Firbolg ability to like the speech of beast and leaf, so they can understand me. I just can't understand them back. And I'm gonna try to like get a bird
Sure.
to come over to me.
Get the bird.
Get a bird.
Easy
Get a
enough.
bird.
Yeah.
And I am going to cast Animal Messenger. And I specify the location is the sequel. The recipient is God, I feel like Tea Kettle's the smartest one on that ship.
But she can't tell them what's happening.
Okay, then I'm going to
Melted snow.
Yeah, melted
In
snow.
in
Melted
fairness,
snow, like-
you don't really know melted snow that well, and you don't
Yeah.
really like Movor doesn't speak common, so you're not
Yeah,
really
Movor's
sure of
not
his
gonna
like
get it.
true intelligence level.
Also, here's the thing: Tea Kettle can recite the message verbatim.
Tea Kettle
because she's a
can
Kenku.
recite the message verbatim.
Okay, and because the animal literally goes and it it replicates the sound of my voice. So
Yep, it
she'll
works
have the
exactly
exact
like the
message.
messenger sparrows work in this world.
Yeah. Up to 25 words. Okay, so God, I gotta do this shit again. The plan is underway. What? Yeah, that's how. Okay. We are traveling by foot at nightfall. Stay with the ship for now. I'll contact again if problems arise. Isn't that 24?
That's 24.
25?
That was 24.
Oh. Bye.
Okay, bye. Okay.
And I say that to the seagull, and then the seagull will go there. It can cover 50 miles per 24 hours.
No
it's
problem.
Gonna get there in like 2 seconds.
It'll get there quickly. It's got to go like a quarter of a mile. Okay, cool. You do that. Anything else?
No.
Then the day passes. You guys kind of like linger in this bar a little bit. Lawrence is sad generally. Nymue, you hang out in the the cage that you're in. You talk to the orcs a little bit. The sun sets. The sun goes down. Nighttime falls. Nymue, the individuals that are kind of like milling around the slave markets and these pens and stuff generally disperse as the day ends, as the sun goes down. For the rest of you, the crowd grows. As night falls, people begin to filter in. Not extremely crowded. You get the sense that the Babbling Brook is not an extraordinarily popular tavern among local residents of Yathdarai. But people filter in, get drinks, and eat food and various things. Nymue. About an hour after sunset, Aelorn Relolian's assistant, who you will remember, I don't know if you got his, like, surname. I think he was just referred to as Dural to you guys. But Dural comes back to this area. He doesn't really address you. He just kind of, like, comes and he's, like, sort of lingering around outside the cages. And eventually, two individuals in these, like, kind of, like, white outfits show up. They are both humans. They're wearing, like, plain white shirts, plain white pants, like, white shoes.
Men in white?
What's that?
Men in white? Is
Yeah,
that
men in white.
Okay.
They on the right, like, chest area, there is, like, an emblem on these individuals, like, uniforms. That is a it kind of looks like a almost like maybe like a scepter of some sort, that has, like, something sort of, like, twined around it. You can't get a great look in, like, the dim light, and they're not super close to you. But Dural, like, approaches them. He hands the control crystal to the collar that he put on you to one of these individuals. You can see that they both have these, like, sort of like baton-looking things on belts on their waists. And Dural says to the one of the individuals, he says, it's maybe the first time you've heard him, like, actually speak. He says, "It has been several months since my employer has found a true Naporian warrior, eh?" He says, your master will be quite pleased, eh?" And one of the individuals that he addresses kind of, like, scoffs at him. And he says, "Arcanist the Scene is not our master." He says, "But yes, I'm sure he will be more than pleased that another Naporian is to be brought to Serengras." He says, "If that's all," he says, "the usual amount will be brought to your employer, as is customary. We'll take her now and bring her with us."
I'm going to quickly... My mind, like, has not left Mokral, and I'm going to tell him, "Be patient. We will be back for you."
You just hear, like, an audible, like, from the cage that you know the orcs to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, the cage that you are in is opened, and the one individual who you see has the control crystal, he says, "Come along now. It's not that far."
I follow.
He gestures. He says, he kind of brings you out, and he says, "Into the cart there."
All right.
And you kind of sort of get in. What you get into is a horse-drawn carriage. That as you get in, you climb into the back. The doors are shut, and you hear like a latch sealed from the outside. The inside of this this enclosed wagon thing is There's no like benching or anything like that. The entire interior of it is empty. Floor, walls, ceiling, and it is all padded. And you hear the two like go around the side after they secure the lock mechanism. They get into the front of the carriage. You hear the snap of reins, and the carriage begins to like rumble along the cobblestone streets. You heard the name Arcanist Thyxes, and you heard the word Serengras spoken by them. Those are just for a little metagame information. Those are the important bits of that conversation that you overheard. And as this carriage begins to rumble, taking you somewhere, that is where we will end tonight's session.
Ooh,
As the dwarven helmet comes off.
Way hotter and heavier than the pirate hat.
Thank you guys for joining me tonight. Those of you at home who have played along with us this evening. Thank you, obviously, as always, to my players who make this an enjoyable game every single week. Thank you to our sponsors, Little Dragon Corp and Cardboard Castle, for sponsoring Proficiency Bonus. Do all of the things. Follow us here. Subscribe. Find us on YouTube. Find us on everywhere. Check out all of the other D&D content and other types of content that we produce. We will be... I'm not sure what next week is going to look like. We're kind of dealing with some stuff with the other half of this campaign right now that I'm trying to settle. But at the very least, the Pirates crew is going to continue uninterrupted with their stories. So join us next time, at the very least, for the Pirates to see where Nymue is being taken to and what the party will do now that one of their own has been separated and theoretically, hypothetically, sold to some sort of mysterious, shadowy organization that wants Naporians for some reason. So, we will see you either next week or the week after, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Proficiency Bonus.
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Crap, I guess it's official. That's the new sign off.
It has to be.
Oh, it does, doesn't it? Well,
It does.
goodbye.
Love you, bye. See you next Tuesday.
And we're out. See you next Tuesday. Bye, everybody.